like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Spencer Rattler, man, listen, the people's champ. And we like I said, I'm talking about Carr because a lot of people don't know, what's going on here, that they hear it outside of the building, but they don't know. And see, the problem is if you don't know, go talk to the people that do know. A lot of these people outside the game, outside of here, they don't know nothing about. They got people talking about the Saints that ain't even Saint people, man. I don't even pay that no mind, because if you won't know what's going on with the black and gold, you go talk to the diehards. They tell it like it is. That's where you get the game from. If you ain't getting it from them, you ain't getting it. You heard what I said? If you're not getting it from them, you're not getting it. You talk to the diehards that tell it like it is. And they out here saying, well, this, that, and the third. The reason why Spencer Rattler is the people's champ in my mind, and I've watched this, and listen, y'all know this. When they drafted Spencer, I wasn't excited about that. Y'all know who I wanted them to pick up, the other kid. Because I was scouted. I scouted both of them, but the other kid really impressed me. And I was like, man, he was there. They got Spencer. I'm not mad at it, though. I know Spencer got a lot of good stuff going on. We did the play-by-play. He threw the touchdown to Equimia St. Brown, and then he underthrew. He could have had another touchdown, but he underthrew it. I think it was A.T. Perry if he delayed that ball. But that's some of the stuff I told y'all about when we scouted. I said he got a strong arm, but sometimes he loses the gut. Sometimes the ball dies on some of his throws. That was a clear example on one of them. He's not perfect, but he got work to do. He's a rookie, but he has the intangibles. He has the mindset. The game is not bigger than Spencer Rattler. He gonna learn the bumps and bruises because he's never been in there before. But the intangibles, the speed of the game, understanding moving parts, guys moving around the field for the pocket, knowing ball placement, where to put it at, scrambling, knowing when to play, breaking down and get out of there. And then the biggest thing is accurate on the run. That's where, yes, Jake Haener beat, because when the pocket broke down, Jake had to move outside the pocket, couldn't make those throws on the run. There were several really good plays that if Jake could have made accurate throws on the run, there would have been big pickups for him. It would have changed the trajectory of that game, made it look a little bit better for him. But Spencer Rattler had no issues throwing outside that pocket, being accurate. The kid got something. He got the energy. And then it's an it factor that he has, in the Who Dat Nation see it. They see it. Even so much so that the energy, they're not looking at the starting quarterback. Even though the guy's a 5th round draft pick, it's a very interesting dynamic. It really is. Just watching it. And I'm so pumped because I want to see how it plays out. Because it's an interesting, 5th round quarterback, rookie, 11-year pro, making $150 million. And the issue is the head coach, which is a poll question. I want y'all to answer this poll question. That's why I started the broadcast off. And I said, who will Dennis Allen select as the second string QB? 60% says Rattler. Now I want y'all to read that again, because some of y'all might have hit that button and put Rattler on there because that's who you want. Read that question again and go back and vote. If you read it again, I didn't say who do you want to be the second string quarterback? I said, who will Dennis Allen select? That wasn't like Q throwing up easy. He throwing up alley-oops in the polls, nowadays. I'm like, no. That poll question says, who will Dennis Allen select? Who he going to be? Well, Q, according to all the information, preseason is over with. Guys should have already earned standings in said depth chart. Once you get a standing, like, okay, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 4, you're 5, or whatever the case may be. And once you get that, you get your order there, and then the season starts, and then you be about the work of keeping your order and then trying to increase to maybe get more minutes so you can climb whatever group that you're in. You get what I'm saying? But the order of the depth chart should be set because you had plenty of time. You had OTAs, you had involuntary and mandatory. You've had these rookie situations. You've had all of training camp, and you had a full 3-game preseason to figure out who these guys are going to be, and they still competing. Why? Y'all know why. I call it the control matrix. I've been saying this, and I warned y'all before this happened. Before that happened, I warned y'all. I said, hey, man, we dealing with a dude that'll do everything he can to protect this quarterback because he's tied to the hip of this man. He drafted him. And like I said, I like Derek Carr, but the Who Dat Nation has already picked who they're rolling with, and there can't be two of them. Just it's phenomenal. It's so interesting, this whole phenomenal with Spencer Rattler and Derek Carr. He's just a backup quarterback. He has no emphasis. He has no impact on the quarterback. Does he now? Why it's taking so long for the people to decide on who the second string quarter going to be in preseason? Been over with for days now. How do you not even say who it is? How are they still competing? How? Preseason's over with. How are they still competing? It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. The guy didn't throw any touchdowns. Well, you would have had one if old boy wouldn't have done this. Don't matter, bro. All we dealing with, because both of them lost plays because of penalties. Same thing happened. They both operated the same offenses. How is it still a competition at this stage of it? It's not a competition. It's the control matrix. And you shall see, depending on where Dennis Allen places him, you'll see if how bad it is, because it wasn't close. It should be Spencer Rattler. If it's a true competition and not some BS, Spencer won it outright, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. So anyway, let's get into these articles right here, man. Saints rookie QB Spencer Rattler massively hyped by NFL expert. Massively hyped, you say. Do you say now? Massively. Saints rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler is one of the most hype points and reasons for hope among family members ahead of week 1. Rattler's impressive summer and preseason behind Derek Carr doesn't have head coach Dennis Allen willing to name him number 2 quarterback on the depth chart. Sure. Why? There's an answer to every question, right? The last major point comes from NFL Films' Greg Cosell, who recently appeared on the Ross Tucker podcast and offered notable Rattler analysis. He said Spencer is one of the most intriguing guys coming out of the draft. I was surprised he was a 5th-round pick. This kid can throw a football. His tape at South Carolina was a little erratic and inconsistent at times. He played behind a fairly poor O-line. He's a very gifted thrower of the football. People may forget he was the number 1 quarterback coming out of high school. Hyped or not, Rattler isn't going to replace a veteran starter like Carr, whom the Saints paid up dearly to get while the organization still hopes to contend. Perhaps the attitude changes later in the season if things are going terribly wrong, but for now, Rattler outcome focuses on 2025 and beyond that point. It's frankly a good problem to have. Not many teams can boast that they have such appealing upside out of a 5th round pick learning on the sidelines. All right. That's Spencer. And then as we move forward, let's hit this article right here from Clutch Sports. NFL rumors Saints Spencer Rattler plan if Derek Carr struggles, right? Let's see what they're saying here. Could Derek Carr be dethroned as the Saints starting quarterback? While no quarterback controversy exists for the Saints, starter Derek Carr could be under pressure this season. After selecting Spencer Rattler in 2024's draft, the rookie has wowed Saints family members and the front office with his electric on-field play. Granted, this didn't happen during the preseason game, or this did happen rather during the preseason game against second and third string lineups. You do what you got to do with whoever you playing with. Don't matter who it is. You got to show up and show out. It don't matter if it's first, second, or third. If they put you in there to play, you got to perform, which is even more plus. But it was still enough for New Orleans to share that if Carr struggled this season, Rattler could take the reins as a Saints starting quarterback. And it's not, let's just say it like this. That's why, this is why I'm putting these articles together, because people kind of dismiss it like, oh, he's just a rookie. Oh, man, he's just a rookie. But I told you, I gave Spencer Rattler a mission, didn't I? Didn't we talk about this? Before the preseason, people kept saying, hey, Q, this, that, and third. I said, fam, let's look at it like this about Spencer Rattler. Let's give him a mission. The mission was mission number 1. Which was it, fam? Put it in the chat. The first mission for Spencer Rattler was to win the second string quarterback job. That's mission number 1 for Spencer Rattler. Mission number 1 was to win the backup quarterback job behind Derek Carr. He had to beat out Haener. Now, Haener and him did really well in practice, but you practice for the games. That's why they have preseason games. When the preseason games hit, Spencer Rattler struggled in the second game, but Jake Haener didn't look no better. Jake Haener had an opportunity like Spencer did in that first game. Spencer had thrown a touchdown. He ran for a touchdown, showed his gumption, ran for a touchdown. He orchestrated a drive that led to the field goal that won the first game. And then in the second game, he struggled. The line broke down. He just got knocked on his ass. He looked like a rookie in that game. But Jake Haener didn't do that farther or much better. Jake Haener didn't throw touchdowns, do none of that stuff in the second game. So he didn't extend himself. If you're looking at the games based on that, game 1 was Spencer Rattler, right? Game 2 was none of them because Spencer struggled. He fumbled the ball. I think he had 2 turnovers or something like that. Y'all remind me. I know he had a fumble. I think he had 1 turnover. He fumbled the ball and he got sacked and stuff like that. But he struggled in the second game. But Jake Haener didn't do anything special to separate himself in that game. So it wasn't a win for either. Then the third game was all Spencer Rattler. He threw a touchdown, almost had 2 touchdowns if he wouldn't have underthrew A.T. Perry. And Jake Haener was orchestrating the same offense he was using because they was flip-flopping them. And that's a tough thing to do when you pull out a quarterback and put another quarterback in there and say, okay, go ahead and do your thing. And he, with 2 different units, he's out there moving around, doing it, making plays, right? That's pretty tough to do. And he was able to look pretty good doing it, scrambling around, making throws on the run, doing that. Jake Haener struggled all game. He struggled in the game. Both wide receivers were dropping passes. Bub Means dropped the pass. Witchman's Face dropped the pass. They were dropping passes, but both quarterbacks, but still in all, that didn't stop Jake Haener from throwing the touchdown. That was all Jake Haener with that throw to Equimius St. Brown in the end zone. He put that ball where only Equimius could get. That was not a rookie throw if you think about it, right? That's a veteran throw he stood in there and made. He looked around, seen Equimius, and put the ball where he was running to. That took anticipation, by the way, which he has as well. So I say that. So what I'm saying that is, if things are fair and right, the backup QB job was won by Spencer Rattler. If everything is fair and righteous in the Saints building, and God knows that's not the case, but if Dennis Allen is a fair person and not a snake and not a possum-faced raccoon who backstabs people, if he changed his ways, this would be a good choice to make because it's very easy. Spencer Rattler won the backup job behind Derek Carr. And if he did that, in my estimation, he did based on his play, because he outplayed Jake Haener for the job, then he's the backup quarterback, which means that if Derek Carr not only struggles, but if he gets hurt and can't play, Spencer Rattler going up in that game. The only way this doesn't happen is if Dennis Allen says, we still going to keep Jake Haener will be the backup guy. Or if this could be something too, because he did this before. He can name he could be like, he did co-defensive coordinators. Like he couldn't make the choice between Coach Richard and what's my other guy, man, that went on to Atlanta? And Ryan Nielsen. He couldn't make the choice between Ryan Nielsen and Richard. So he said, hey, both of you guys are defensive coordinators. You're co-defensive coordinator and you're co-defensive coordinator. Could that be something foolish that he can, wait, listen, they're both backup quarterbacks. Hey, we can use both of them. If we need to run the play, we'll put in. Don't be surprised if you do some craziness like that to avoid naming who the guy going to be. But see, the problem is if he names Spencer as the guy, he knows where that's going to lead, because he doesn't want pressure on his quarterback. And what I mean by pressure on his quarterback, he don't want guys, because the whodatnation, they know y'all, they know who you going to ride with. And if Derek Carr struggles, if he looks subpar, there are going to be whodats from the stands yelling for Rattler, who's the backup quarterback. You get what I'm saying? And God forbid, for Derek Carr's sake, if something happens to Carr for a couple of games and Spencer Rattler's the guy and he comes in there and he performs well and Derek Carr got to come back to that, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's what the phenomenal nature of all this is. That's what I'm saying. It's really interesting, a very unique dynamic we're watching right now. This is going to make the NFL season for the Saints, so it's going to give it a different flavor, a different flavor dimension, as I call it. Go be fun. All right, let's finish this one up. We got to keep an eye on this one, says Dianna Russini. And Dianna Russini, I don't know if y'all know Dianna Russini, used to work for ESPN, but she just a ball of energy. I love her stuff. She be saying all these, have great commentary on stuff, and she got this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed energy like a Cam Jordan or something like that. It's like she stuck a finger in the socket and just juiced up. Yeah. That kind of thing. I love that energy. But she said, Dianna Russini on the last episode of Scoop City says, I think this is going to be a situation. I'm going to play this for y'all because she's talking to Chase, who's a former New Orleans Saints quarterback, about Spencer Rattler. So let me play this for you guys. Y'all put one in the chat if you can hear this one, baby. Hold on. Here we go.
What's the vibe? They drafted Spencer Rattler. What's the vibe down there in NOLA?
All right. So I'm so glad you used the word vibe, because that I love checking with teams this time of year. Just like, what's the vibe? Give me the vibe, And the text I received was from someone in the building. Was like, the vibes are really, really high. Capital letters, right? And so, of course, the follow-up question is, wait, is he going to beat out Carr? Or do we have a quarterback on? And it was like, no. But
they said no. There's no quarterback controversy right now.
No, there is not. But Chase, we got to keep an eye on this one. I think this is going to be a situation like the ones that we've talked about earlier in the show, where you have the veteran quarterback as the starter, like we see in New England, we see in Pittsburgh. And then once things go a little weird, could they be calling for the backup? The New Orleans Saints have a really good quarterback situation right now in terms of, if Derek Carr doesn't pan out, they have a lot of confidence in what their backup in Rattler can do.
Yeah. Let's just remember that Caleb Williams replaced Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma, and then Rattler went on to transfer to South Carolina for 22 and 23 season. He was the 5th round pick, 150th overall.
Now, let me add to that, fam. This is another thing to talk about here on that. And that was great juice by both of those guys. But this is the reality, too, that Chase Daniels laid out, too. That's a chip on his shoulder. We talk about Spencer Rattler, the Caleb Williams thing. He has that chip on his shoulder for him being picked in the 5th round. He has a chip on his shoulder. That's another extra motivation for for Spencer Rattler. But this is pretty good, man. She stressed that there's no QB battle between Carr and Rattler. No, that's not what it is. It's not a controversy. It's not that at all. The interesting, like I said before, the interesting dynamic of this Spencer Rattler thing with the Who Dat Nation is that the Who Dat Nation have elected this man as and I call him the people's champ, because that's the energy that I place on. Like I can see, like when you see a groundswell of support base and they just love this kid and what he can do, and they see him like, man, this guy's going to be something special. The Who Dat Nation have made Spencer Rattler the people's champ. That's what kind of energy he's riding on. And don't be fooled. Dennis Allen them see that. It's not a QB controversy, but they understand what pressure on the quarterback is. It's because of you guys that this is happening, because they know it puts pressure on Carr to elevate his game. I want him to step up and play. I really do. I want Carr to do his thing. And then there was something, a couple of people out there was putting out there that they would like to see Spencer Rattler taking his time. And that's traditionally what happens. Like, yeah, Pat Mahomes boys, he took a year behind, and Smith, Alex Smith. You had Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers. And look how they progressed, where they've been able to sit in the same system and mature. I like Derek Carr. I think Carr gives the Saints the best. The best because of his experience to it, saying that his experience, 11 years in the NFL is nothing to spit at, especially a lot of that as a starting quarterback. But it's nothing wrong with pressure. And I akin pressure. Well, I would say it's tantamount to kind of like what's the term I'm searching for? They call it pressure, but all it is competition. It's competition. That's all it is. They're putting pressure on him because he's sitting there waiting for Carr, and Carr's there. If something happens to Carr, if he gets hurt or if he struggles, because this is a pressure year, he has to play. He has to elevate in that new system and do his thing. Dennis Allen's don't want that. He doesn't want that pressure of the competition of a young quarterback over the shoulder, or Derek Carr looking over his shoulder at Spencer Rattler. He doesn't want him to feel that. That's what this is all about. That's why the call about who the second string quarterback is, man, when you ever known that to happen? Seriously. Go back in the great think tank grand collective and think about when the last time a head coach was afraid or hesitant rather to make a call on who the backup quarterback should be. Huh? When the last time you known that to happen? But you can't stop it, baby. You can't escape the school. Try all you may. It will not work. And I'm waiting to see what that depth chart gonna look like too. I'm waiting to see, baby, what it's gonna look like. Very interesting situation. All right, back to the article. Thinking that a 5th round pick could potentially steal a job from a Pro Bowl quarterback seems unheard of. Regardless, this NFL, man, anything can happen. Carr is no longer at that level of the Pro Bowl quarterback, and Rattler is no ordinary 5th round pick. Carr has become incredibly average in the last few years of his career, put up pedestrian numbers with the Saints last year, threw for over 3,800 yards and 25 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Sounds good, but like I said, sounds good. 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, almost 4,000 yards. Sounds good. But watch the games. It's a difference. But New Orleans barely scrapped out a winning record and missed the playoffs. If Carr continues the mediocre play this season, Rattler could swoop in and take the starting job. Rattler, a former top recruit, had a tumultuous collegiate career, but is oozing with tons of untapped potential. New Orleans could have a franchise quarterback if it can put it all together in its rookie season. So shout out to the writer here. And that's very cool to hear about him. But that's the great dynamic that he represents. And the Saints know it. But the righteous thing is to make him the backup quarterback because he earned it. We're not asking to give him some subsidy. We're not asking for that. Spencer Rattler earned the backup job. It shouldn't be, we're still competing. What? How? In practice, you're still competing? Who the guy? Man, that's just old pigeon talk. That's old Rossum possum ass stuff. That's possum face backstabby talk. There is still no competition going on. Is there still a competition going on for the tight ends? Is there still a competition going on for the running backs? Is there still a competition going on for the cornerbacks? No, everybody's competition, all of that is stopped. Everybody has a role. They have a number. That's what they do. That's how it's built. You're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3, you're number 4, you're number 5. That's what it was for in preseason, to determine who it is. But while all of a sudden we don't know who the guy going to be, we'll see. But spinning it like this probably end up as the third. That's why I'll put that question to y'all. Don't answer it like you want him to be. I said answer it how Dennis Allen answers it. Who do you think Dennis Allen is going to say the second string? That's what that poll question is for. All right. So anyway, let's keep it going and bucking, man. Big ups to y'all. All right, Dark Side. So what's up, Dark Side? So I like Rattler. However, this agenda memes is giving me that. Dude, no, dude. Do you know what you just said? No, bro. No, I don't like the hashtag. I ain't gonna be able to lie because that's something else. You know, something else is akin to that hashtag. Something else is akin to that hashtag. You know what I'm talking about? No, I don't need to rename it something else. But in the end, I understand what's going on, man. That's why it's going to grow and big, because it's going to continue to grow, because the reality is they know, the Whodats know what's happening. See, this is the thing. People outside, see, you guys are listening to the Black and Gold. Like, I'm not sitting up here pumping my team up like, yeah, we're going to beat everybody. And no, I do that. I ain't selling no hopium, playboys. No hopium. All I got, man, is bags of hardcore reality, because that's what we need, man. We need gallons of it right now, you know. But like I said, they understand what's going on. They know who Dennis Allen is. They're not a fool. They know who Dennis Allen is. They know how much he loves protecting his quarterback. And protecting your quarterback is okay. But nobody, if you're not doing that for nobody else, you're not trying to protect the wide receivers from people over there. No, you're inviting competition everywhere. You bring in Chase Young and push Cam Jordan down. Cam was the starter. Chase Young comes in and pushes Cam to the bench. You wasn't trying to protect Cam. You wasn't trying to protect Pete Werner. You wasn't trying to protect nobody else gets that treatment. You see what I'm saying? It's a special treatment only Derek Carr gets from his head coach. And it's very obvious. So what happened is, based on whoever the call is officially from them, or who the backup quarterback is, it'll expose what I'm saying is going on. Righteously, it should be Rattler, because he won it outright and wasn't even close. But if he does make the call that Rattler is the backup, the whodatnation is going to ride with Rattler. And if Carr struggles, they're going to be yelling from the stands for Rattler. Whether you agree upon it or not, that's what they're going to do. They're going to do it. And is that something new? No, they were doing the same thing when Jameis was here. When he was struggling, they were yelling for Jameis. So is that something new? The only difference is this is a young, exciting kid that has future attached to him, that we know with proper training could be very good. So it's going to be, this whole thing creates a whole new energy over the team going into this season. And it's a very welcoming energy, I must say. I got to say that. It's a very welcoming energy to get that, because I believe in competition. Now, listen, when I say compete like competition, I mean in terms of people having a chance. Like, if you have this guy here, because it's obvious a race, right? You got a race going on. I believe in that. If I got Walmart and I got Kmart or Target or whomever, Kmart's gone, but you got Target and different stores that are competing for you prices stay low. But if you mop up and push everybody out and do the Walmart model and charge everything to be cheap and then it drops, then you have to buy your food from this guy, and that guy going to raise that food up twice as what it's worth. But if you got grocers around the stores that have competition, you know, they keep those prices down, that's good for everybody. The only people that don't really vibe on that is the Rockefeller camp, because they can't compete in the open market. That's the only time I think that is actually good, when you go into a price situation. And besides, the whole model these teams are based on is a race situation, not race in terms of black or white or whatever. I'm talking race in terms of competition, which it was intended to be. You got it. It's it's a competition or a race, or I ain't gonna say it's a game, but it's almost like it's a game. Like whatever you are, if you classify yourself as black or white or whatever, it's a racial caste system. So your crayons in the box, right? You got black color, you got the yellow color, you got the red color, you got the white color. We're a box of crayons. Who made us a box of crayons, right? There was a book that came out many years ago. And in this narrative, it shows each person in their own car. You got the red car, the yellow car, the white car. You see what I'm getting at? And you're on a racetrack, right? Like a Talladega, whatever the case may be. And when the bell or the gun or whatever hits for you to take off your car, you're racing down the lane and you're trying to get to the finish line. Now, what do you get when you get to the finish line? Whatever you're trying to get, whether it's the resources, because resources are limited, you know? So you're competing for the resources of whatever the race is going to produce. Now, that was the true intention of it, until other people took it and turned it into something to make people collide with each other. But that's what it is in the simplest form. It's a competition for the limited resources. Some people get more of them and others don't. Some of us don't even realize that we're in a competition. So in some competition, when you blow out a flat tire and you're in the black car, don't expect any of the other cars to pull over and help you change your tire. It don't work like that. They're going to pass you right up to see if they can get them resources. That's what's happening. So you simplify it. But in football lingo, this is the same essence, because you see these guys competing for money, position. Because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you end up in the street. You know, you don't get the opportunity. You go somewhere else, or you don't have a job. You see what I'm saying? You end up not getting a job. So they compete to get the starting spot. Okay, you did this, you outplayed this guy. That means you're here. You have to outplay this guy to get there. You're here. So this is it is. But when you $50 million quarterback, many quarterbacks don't like the idea of looking over their shoulder. Tom Brady didn't like it. That's why they traded Jimmy Garoppolo. He did not want Garoppolo over his shoulder. Bill Belichick wanted to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. Tom Brady forced them to trade that man. It forced them to trade him. Some quarterbacks don't want somebody over their shoulder. And that's what Dennis Allen is trying to do. He's trying to protect Carr by not having Rattler over his shoulder, looking over his shoulder, even though Rattler's a rookie. Well, he's just a rookie. He can't do anything. It's not the point. It's not about Spencer Rattler, fam. It's about the people that's behind Spencer Rattler, the whodatnation. It's about what they think. I'm just saying, in the energy, that it's going to be a groundswell of energy that washes over the Saints with Spencer Rattler. They ain't going to be able to do nothing with it. They ain't going to be able to do nothing with it. I'm telling you. And that's that justice. That's that justice. Because one way or the other, you get rid of Jameis, you do all this other stuff, get rid of all these people. You drop Nate Peterman off 2 weeks before the start of the first preseason game. You have two young, inexperienced quarterbacks there. You thought Jake Haener was going to be the man. And he ain't the man. It's Spencer Rattler. So this is an interesting dynamic, man. And let me tell you something. I absolutely love it, man. I ain't going to tell y'all no lie. I love this. Because it should make us get the very best card that we can get. It should make us, it should promote Carr, because he plays his best football that way. If you think about it, like when he's with Chucky, when he's with John Gruden and with the Raiders, those years when he threw for over 4,000 yards, like 3 years straight in the seasons. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dark Side. He threw 3 years straight of 4,000-yard seasons under Chucky. Chucky was a taskmaster. Chucky would be on him. He would be telling them, hey, man, you're going to do, And he obviously operates better with somebody providing that same type of energy. I'm not saying Clint Kubiak does that, but I'm saying when you as a $150 million quarterback and you're the top guy and you got people calling from the stands, number one, they can't be mad if they're calling from the stands, then you're doing something wrong as a QB. Now, if you're out there throwing touchdowns, you're winning games, people are not going to be yelling for Spencer Rattler if the Saints are winning. They'll be cool on that. But they're only yelling from the stands if he's not producing, if he's messing up, stuff like that. And I actually think this will be good for the team because we need that extra motivation. The team needs that extra motivation to step up. Now, listen, that's where I see that it works there. It works there in that model. It does work in that situation, but I don't see much use for it anywhere outside of anything else. And in certain other aspects in your life, I don't think that it is valid, because if you're competing with somebody, you think you're competing with somebody outside of that, like if you're in a controlled situation, that's just said like that, then it does work to a degree, like with a football team, stuff like that you actually know who you're going up against, and it's a structured situation. But in many cases outside of that, I don't think it works very well, because it'll drive you down and you can't really seriously see everything that whoever you're trying to compete with outside of the control structure is doing. They might have more money than you. They might have more resources than you. They might have more experience than you. They might be clicked in some kind of way than you. You don't know none of that. So it's a different thing. That's why I said that don't apply in unstructured situations, in my estimation, in my opinion. But in a control situation like that, I think it definitely it works. We see that it works. All right, but anyway, let me keep it moving, man. Shout out to y'all, man. We got over 200 people in this thing. Y'all hit that poll, man. Tell me what y'all think right now. Who will Dennis Allen select as the second string QB? 57% people say Rattler. 57% of the Who Dat Nation, the Great Saint Think Tank, believe that Dennis Allen will make Spencer Rattler the second string quarterback. If I'm in that poll, because I didn't vote, but I would have to say, I will have to vote. I'm a vote for Haener. I voted for Haener. That's what I think he's gonna do.